Hey everybody, Jeff Bernard with Solve Systems here, and today we're going to build a Microsoft form and an accompanying Microsoft Power Automate flow that evaluates COVID-19 symptom checks from whoever fills it out and then forwards that information on to a supervisor. So follow along. I'll include the link to the template that I found on the internet for COVID-19 symptom checks. And we're going to get going right now. So let's go. Okay, so diving right in, we have a few things going on here. We have 3 tabs open. Firstly, open the link that I have in the description to the COVID-19 template. That'll be useful going forward in order to make this happen in Microsoft Forms. You're going to want to open a Microsoft form, and then you're going to want to open your Power Automate tab. So from here, we're going to just look at some of the questions on the self-assessment form, and we see we're going to use the first 3 in your app. You can obviously use all of them because that would make it appropriate for what the CDC outlines. And then we're going to just copy a few of these questions into the form and then have it feed into Power Automate. I'm not a doctor, so don't take this as health advice because it's not. But let's make it happen. So we're gonna start by copying the first value, and then we're going to add new. You're going to add a choice. We're going to just type yes. We're going to type no, and this is our first question that we're going to ask our people. And then we're going to go copy some other questions. So we're going to copy this one. That's number 2. And then we're going to copy number 3. And you can just keep duplicating these. It goes a lot faster if you do that. And then it's auto-saving it as we're making them, so you don't have to worry about saving anything. One quick thing that I wanted to make note of is that if you click the share over here, you see there's this QR code if you hover over the share options. And what can be done is that you can print out this QR code and paste it somewheres, or you can take, save it as a image and include it in an email that could be done on a recurring basis every morning if you wanted to perform these checks with your employees that are going out and about or ones that are coming back to the office. So that's just a quick side note and a useful thing that Forms has at our disposal. So we're going to jump into Power Automate. The first thing we're going to want to do is search for this form and that form connector. And so we're going to say when a new response is submitted. So we're going to firstly add that. We're going to click the drop down, and then we're going to pick COVID self-test. Then we're going to say get, or we'll go to forms first, and get response details. This is going to pull everything from that form object into Flow, and we'll be able to do things with these parameters. So we're going to say COVID self-test, and then there's only one option for the response ID, which will be the actual string value of that form in the database on the back side of this. So good. We're pulling the responses from the COVID self-test, and then we're getting those response details in more detail, breaking it down, and then we're going to add a condition. So adding a condition, we will then have some options based on the questions. Okay, so you see we have 1, 2, 3 questions, and then we're going to be able to choose those. So firstly, we want to choose the first question, which is tested positive for COVID-19, and then is equal to yes. And that's going to go down the yes branch of the condition. We're going to add the next question. Has anyone been exposed to COVID-19? Yes. And then it's going to go down the yes branch again. So we'll keep iterating that through the condition. And if you have more answers that need to be tested in your version of the form, then you would just iterate through them here, checking each condition. So we'll do the last one. Type yes. Okay, so we have if any of these conditions are met, which are just the responses of this form, then we'll perform an action. So for our action, we're going to add Office 365 Outlook connector, send email v2. And then I don't have anyone else in this tenant, so I'm just going to choose myself. But what you could do here is have, you could also send an email to the respondent, the person responding to this. You want to put some semicolons in there. And then we'll say COVID positive test for, and then we'll pick again the responder's email address, and we'll say this person has tested positive or is exhibiting symptoms of COVID-19. We could do a lot of different things here, but for the sake of this video, what we're going to do is add tested positive for COVID-19 question mark. And then we'll add the response to that. And you can do any number of things. We're just going to send an email because we'll want to know as administrative people in a business if people are experiencing symptoms, so we can make decisions further from that. But you could write this to another database. You could post this to some other platform if you wanted. You can notify the CEO if it needs to get to that level. And then we can just copy this email output to the clipboard and reuse that action by adding the action clipboard and then email v2, and then it'll bug out for a second, and then we'll have that and tested COVID negative. And obviously this is not a full solution that you can implement and roll out, but what you could do is build off of this, which is the intention. As negative, and we'll put negative. This person has tested or is tested negative is fine. COVID-19. Okay, so now that we have all this set up, we're going to save it. And then we're going to run it by submitting a form response. So if we typed no, it would go down the no branch, and we'll hit preview to test that. So no, no, no. Submitted, and we'll go back and check the run of that 3 seconds ago. We'll see that it went down the no condition, the false condition, and went into an email here and tested positive for COVID-19. No. So that's pretty cool. And then we'll go back and we'll do a yes. We'll reload. Not quite sure why it's not letting me choose yes. Responses. You hit preview and then yes. And then we'll submit that again. And we'll see on the second run that it'll have gone down the yes branch. So we say yes. Okay, and then the alarm bells go off and this person is contacted for further action. So that's just a quick and simple way of rolling out a COVID assessment form. And again, the link for this will be in the descriptions. I hope this was helpful. If you need this implemented at your organization, give me a shout and we can get you up and running very quickly. So have a good day. We'll talk to you later.